Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, January 14th, after 3 p.m. Eastern. This whole evolutionary jump for mankind, for humanity on this planet, it all depends on going within and discovering the gods that we are. Now, we've got over 5,000 religions on this planet, growing every day. And all of those are man-made. And the social structure of the planet is so confusing to some that they end up getting lost in the physicality and materialism of out there, the external authority. And believe it or not, we created that, which isn't a bad thing. We create things all the time to challenge us and so that we can experience in physical form. But to embrace the gods that we are, and people will name it's a name, God, pure consciousness, spirit, higher self, soul, all one. And that is where the civilization is going. And that's why those of us who are awake to a certain extent know this. We're now going more into the heart-mind. We're going within. We are discovering all the things that we've carried with us in not only this lifetime, but others. Guilt, disappointment in ourselves, hard on ourselves, fears that we have stuck in our closet, many different things. And we're discovering those. And to our surprise, it's not that big of a deal. We let them go. We're surrendering to the gods that we are in these bodies. We're starting to pray to the gods that we are in these bodies, not to some fictitious something outside of us. And this all involves enlightenment. Enlightenment begins the moment when you are not and God is. It is a moment of absolute harmony. A window opens and you can see the whole sky. You are no more confined within the walls of your body and mind. A lightening happens. And all darkness disappears. Osho. And we're talking about human consciousness. Enlightenment is the Mount Everest in human consciousness. There is nothing greater in this life to discover. It is the peak of one's existence that naturally blossoms when we've reached a sweet, ripe maturity within every area of our lives. Full enlightenment is not just about reaching a transcendental state of bliss through meditation. The real deal means we've also integrated this expanded understanding into our personal lives. We have mastered our relationships with people. When we have mastered our relationships with people, money, food, sex, health, our body, feelings, thoughts, and everything in our inner world and outer world, then enlightenment simply finds us. It doesn't have to take very long. The moment we discover a deep and complete peace within every area of our lives, we will have reached the highest level of maturity and reveal what the enlightened state is all about. One can only achieve their highest enlightened state when one has grown, evolved, and come to know all parts of themselves intimately. The full ripening and maturity of one's life means we have found peace with ourselves, which overflows onto everyone and everything in our outer world. Enlightenment is a flowering of our divinity that naturally blossoms when we have relinquished this inner battle within us. In other words, surrender to ourselves. It is only by experiencing truth on our own freedom happens. Freedom is the fragrance of the experience of truth. Freedom is the fragrance of the experience of truth. Osho. When we discover the source of every thought, memory, and feeling in our inner world, we instantly liberate ourselves from them. When we discover the source of every thought, memory, and feeling in our inner world, we instantly liberate ourselves from them. The experience of enlightenment is something quite mysterious and very challenging to capture with words. It's a state of profound presence that is coming from the beyond and is heading back into the beyond. It is a state of profound presence that is coming from the beyond, the metta meaning beyond, and is heading back into the beyond. If you are an individual who wants to traverse this spiritually advanced path, there are a few things you will want to know about the various levels of maturity. They're like layers, okay? If and when a man becomes enlightened in a Himalayan cave, then later returns to the city to find himself overwhelmed with stress, strife, and struggle, he hasn't reached his full maturity yet. The ultimate maturity means you are always abiding at your peaceful center, always, not temporarily, not once in a while. Breathing deeply as the eye of the hurricane, enjoying the cosmic play spinning around you. This level of maturity comes with tremendous awareness, a consciousness that burns through the ego mind and doesn't let you get snagged in the cyclone of people's drama. The result of constantly abiding at your peaceful center is the continuous realization that a perpetual state of joy, bliss, love, and freedom is always at the source of who you are. These realizations lead one into the ultimate maturity, which ironically has the qualities of trees in a bamboo forest. Each tree contains incredible strength as well as amazing flexibility. Their roots are deeply intertwined. This allows them to connect with the souls of everyone around them, creating a feeling of a tight, loving family with every new sprout that joins the forest. I don't believe that this planet yet, civilization, has emphatically learned deep within, when you judge another, you do not define them, you define yourself. Wayne Dyer. True maturity is something that's often misunderstood in our society. Very much so. This enlightened maturity is unique in that it contains a childlike playfulness at the core, a constant state of receptivity to each new experience, and profound humility that stems from the willingness to merge with everyone's heart. Although a peaceful stillness is always found at the very core of the mature soul, they are easily inspired, outrageous in their ideas, and simply excited about being alive in this amazing multidimensional universe. The immature soul is easy to identify, as he or she will put others down to lift themselves up. Put others down to lift themselves up. Since they abide in the ego, they always live in a constant state of insecurity because they haven't yet found the courage to venture deep inside to the very core of their being and discover the vast cosmic consciousness and all-forgiving love that's always there. Maturity certainly isn't something attained through age or adulthood. Maturity certainly isn't something attained through age or adulthood. There are many children these days who are more mature than many adults, and the numbers seem to be increasing. The ultimate maturity comes through a welcoming of the large variety of different hot and cold experiences life gives us. It is a willingness to patiently bear the emotional storms of this life, knowing always that everything is temporary, and this too shall most definitely pass away. This cosmic understanding leads to the ripening of consciousness. Only the right fruit falls to the ground. When our consciousness is fully ripe and mature, our burdens, difficulties, and problems in this life will naturally fall away. We will stop manifesting them because our consciousness will be so high that we couldn't be entertained or hooked by the ego mind's illusion once again. You see where we're going? Just me reading these words. Acknowledgement and understanding of what this means. You must know that this Mount Everest of enlightenment is tremendously high. And there are many, many, many old unconscious patterns from our past that need to resurface, be transcended along the way. To climb this peak in our Sunday slippers simply means the journey wasn't a real adventure, yet only a lazy stroll through our neighborhood park. If and when we become spiritually awake, yet find ourselves falling back into our ego's dramatic play again and again, Do not be discouraged. This is just one stage of the ripening process. The discovery here is consciously allowing ourselves to fall back into ego mind. Consciously allowing ourselves to fall back into ego mind. And when it happens, do it with utter awareness. Bring your consciousness into the ego mind. Let the two merge. This will burn away your past karmic conditioning faster than chanting 1 billion mantras and truly liberate you. We are all swinging on this pendulum that flows between the ego and the spirit. And there is no getting off this ride until you have mastered it. People say, well, some people leave. They decide to end early. Can't take it anymore. What happens to them? They come right back in, and they're still on the mastering path. There's no getting off this ride until you've mastered it. Remain all the time steadfast in the heart. God will determine the future for you to accomplish the work. What is to be done will be done at the proper time. Don't worry. Abide in the heart. Sri Ramana Maharishi. This mastery is our journey into maturity. So with pure awareness, meet and greet every ego mind you encounter. Watch how the ego rises and falls. All the while, you are witnessing it. Relaxed at the core and in a state of awe of this great pendulum. So this is a transition for humanity on this planet, which many are missing. This isn't like all the other times. The journey within is the journey to the God. And the God is you, is every one of us. Many on this planet do not understand that the body is just temporary. We go into it, we experience physical form, physical life, we inherit the ego mind, we then master the ego mind, we go within, we find eternity, peace, and so we've mastered the ego mind, we have become enlightened, and we move on. The only reason that we continually come here is because we end up in the ego mind and then we leave the body. Enlightenment is the true path of eternal peace. And like I have shared, it is not something that you go find. It is something within you. Now you imagine really, truly being at peace with oneself, where the ego mind is no longer front and center, and the God heart, the God mind is front and center. And you have forgiven all of you believe, right? The bad things, the mistakes, the so-called mistakes, the sins, which don't exist. Sin simply means you missed the target. And you decide that you're going to make peace with all of that. You're going to surrender to it. You're no longer going to drag it. You're no longer going to carry it. And you face it, every single part of it. You sit and face it. You focus on your breath. You move into the now. You listen to your breath. You move into the now. And in the now is where you will find the doorway to the God that you are. Now imagine what would happen. The majority of the people on this planet decided on their own to embrace the God that they are within the body. To know that everything on this planet, everything that you believe you own, have, all the accomplishments, all the so-called failures, all the disappointments, all you've experienced, and the day will come where you will leave that physical world. You will leave the body, you will leave all belongings, you will leave everything. Nothing is permanent. Only the God that you are within that body. That is the only thing that is permanent. It is the only thing that cannot die. Now, the people that are asleep and follow external authority, look to be guided without outside themselves, right? This transition is going to be very challenging for them. Can you imagine when you were totally asleep and all this was transpiring? You would look at it from a whole different viewpoint, wouldn't you? Instead of the one you have now. But how is this all moving along? How is it all happening? Why is this all happening? It is the collective consciousness of all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. It is the God. It is you. It is all of us. And no matter what solar system, star system, galaxy, universe that we may be inhabiting on a physical level through the gods that we are, it's all one. Everything is one. People have they've been trained to believe individuality. You hear that word a lot. You know, people have said, well, you're going to lose your individuality if you believe that everything is one. The individuality is always there as long as you're in the body. The body is the illusion. The individuality is the illusion. So you can experience on your own way, physical material life. You're one with everything on this planet. Anything that has life, you are one with. Wherever you look, wherever you walk, whatever you see, whatever you experience, is part of the one. Your experiences may be much different than someone else's. Think how phenomenal that is. Believe how phenomenal that is. Not one of us on this planet experience things exactly the way the others do. Exactly. Your experiences in this life are yours. They're what you've created for you to experience the physical material world in that body. Someone else's is theirs. Individuality. Did we, the gods, create that? Yes. So there is no such thing as being lost. It's the example of the dewdrop that quivers off of the leaf, that doesn't, it's scared to drop into the ocean because it's afraid it will lose itself. And then when it drops into the ocean, it is the ocean, the vastness of it. Just like us, eventually we will plug in to the gods that we are. There's no stopping it. More and more are going into it without ego mind, fully immersing in the heart mind, without judgment of others or themselves, but love, forgiveness, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness. And all along, you will discover for yourselves, it's been here the whole time. It's not something I need to go outside of myself and find or experience or gather the knowledge on where to find it. It's always been within us. Omnipotently powerful beings that never die. That are pure energy. Life force energy. We remember, you will remember that you are the light. That you're this brilliant light. You can shine the God that you are. This is a fact. With any sun behind you. And the sun will absolutely pale in comparison to your light, the light that you are. There's no comparison at all. The sun looks dim compared to your light, the God that you are. You could have 1,000 suns, 1,000,000 suns, 1,000,000,000,000 suns, all combined, and you would still be super much brighter than all of those suns combined. The purity and the gods that we are in these bodies, the power, which is off the charts. And we are the only thing that doesn't change, the gods that we are in these bodies. We're divine perfection. We don't change. Everything else changes. So we start to realize that everything else isn't real. Now that can confuse some of us, because you can touch it and feel it and smell it and experience it. How can it not be real? Because we are so good at creating that we can fool the gods that we are. That's why. Now, obviously, doesn't it make sense that we create something that we're not even going to believe is unreal, that's not real? We're going to create something that immerses us so much that we believe it is real. And it's part of our journey, this endless journey that we're all on, of constantly discovering. It's like you're walking along a path and you see flowers, wildflowers, and you say, that flower is separate from me. I'm here with flowers. There are flowers different than I am. And then as you go further down and you start understanding more and more about who and what you are, then you come across another flower. And you go, that flower is me and I am that flower. There is no difference. The same with the tree, the same with anything. We spend the majority of each of our lives looking outside of ourselves. It's pretty much how the civilization has gone for thousands of years. we look outside of ourselves. We take things super seriously. Society has taught us that you get a certain age, you're now an adult, you're not able to do silly things or to be childlike with stuff, and you kind of laugh at life at times and get a good belly laugh with it. Instead, most of us are gripping onto it. I mean, just like white knuckling it. Instead of just letting it go and going with the flow. See, the misunderstanding in our society is that going with the flow means that you're just lost. You don't care. And that's totally the opposite's true. You go with the flow because by going with the flow and not fighting the current, you're able to learn a lot more. Because it's always the unknown. How many of us choose to live the unknown? How many of us take risks every single day? As a matter of fact, we take risks because we enjoy the risks, because they're always the unknown. We don't know the outcome. We have no idea. And some of us may go to readers and star charts and everything to get it answered for us ahead of time. We don't know. They don't know. The stars don't know. You know why? Because we are always changing our destiny. People say, you can't change your destiny is etched in stone. That's not true. You can change your destiny. You can change your future in a blink of the eye. See, it all boils down to who and what you are. That's the grand awakening of humanity. If you really want to know what the grand awakening is, that's the grand awakening. You understand that you are the God. You're the pure consciousness. You're the omnipotently powerful supreme being that resides in that body's heart mind. And every day we look at each other. It doesn't matter who it is with the body, right? But you're watching reflections of yourself every day, night, morning, at work, at play, a random interaction with a stranger. What you're looking at is a reflection of you. And then people take that literally by saying, well, I don't look like them. I'm not as old as them. Blah, blah, blah. That's all material, physical, ego mind. See, there's no way we can escape the gods that we are. You can't escape that. So everyone, it doesn't matter the ones that you would like to just haul off and slug or crack or slap or the God within those bodies is directly connected to the God that you are in your body. And see, for so many millennia, we've been taught to judge, right, others, ridicule others, cut down others, so on and so forth. When all along, we did not know that we were doing it to ourselves. Like, in an example, you walk up to somebody, and you know, right, emphatically so, through your heart mind, that the God within that body is part of the God that you are within the body you're in. Would you do harm to that person? Would you? Knowing that. With no doubt, no shadow of a doubt, total confidence, faith, and trust in yourself and in the God that's in that body. It's an interesting question. Would you harm another, right? You get angry with them, they frustrate you, many different switches go off. Do you know that in all the wars that have taken place on this planet, even the ones you don't know about, there's a common denominator with all the civilizations that came before ours. You know what that is? Why are we doing this? I don't know any of these people, yet I am being directed to kill them. Many, many times on the battlefields of planet Earth, this question has arisen. Why are we doing this? For what purpose does it serve us? Now understand, this is the God in the body that you're communicating with, and you're saying, what the heck am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I harming myself? Why do you think that so many who have been thrusted into conflict throughout millennia have what they call post-traumatic stress syndrome? It isn't our natural state to harm others. That's why. That's why we have that. And that's why so many men and women have it on this planet that many are not aware of. And it doesn't have to be a formal war. It could just be interaction with a loved one or someone leaving the body. There's a lot of trauma and stress that isn't our natural state of being, and we don't know that. We don't know that. How do we know that? This is why we feel so uncomfortable all the time, and we do. But a lot of the times we fill it. We suppress it. We kind of, kick it over in a corner or in a closet. When you realize, like there are many realizing this, why would I spend my whole life in this physical form, right? Experience this physical form, worrying, stressing, and fearing, when I know the true God that I am in this body never dies, and I know that this body I am in is temporary. So why would I worry, stress, and fear my whole life at different times, in different stages, in different ages? Why would I fear leaving the body, which so many do, are right now on this planet toward the end of their stay in that temporary suit? And so they're saying, what's next? What's going to happen? And all of the stuff that they thought they knew rolls right out the window. And fear grips them. The unknown. Now, can you imagine that you decide to embrace the unknown, right? And you get to the point where you like the unknown. In fact, the unknown is our natural state of being in these bodies. That's why it feels so uncomfortable for so many, because we have weaved a safe zone for ourselves. And we stay in that safe zone. And you're presented with opportunities by the universe. Say, hey, take the boat without the oars. Do something different for a change. Take the boat without the oars. Don't take that raft upstream. So you could be standing there with a group of people, and all of you walk up to the shoreline, and you're looking at all these people, really digging in and rafting, right? They're going upstream. They're fighting the current. They're grimacing and they're sweating and they're red-faced. And then you see just a few people, like a no-brainer, they're stepping right into the boats without oars. Got a comfortable padded seat, and they're getting in and they're just shoving off with their foot and letting the current slowly take them downstream. Not upstream, downstream thinking that we can employ in this life. And we're saying you could actually visualize through your heart mind, looking out of your own eyes and that body, saying, I have no idea where I'm going, but this is really exciting for me. Usually, you do in some ways, not all the time, but we do in some ways have kind of an idea where we're going. You know, if we're moving somewhere, you know, we get a new job or something, we kind of know. It's comfortable enough. There's a few unknowns, but they're kind of minuscule. Then we get to points where we have no clue. We have no clue. We don't know, in the event that we decide to step that way, what's going to happen. We have no clue. Now, you could say, well, then I'll ask the God that I am. You could do that. But the God that you are would probably, most likely, take the step. You'll be absolutely elated. Take the step. Now, that step is not comfortable for many of us. It isn't. Have you ever been presented with something out of the clear blue by the universe through many different ways, and you contemplated for a minute or a moment, or you thought about it, and you said, well, you know, I'm going to ponder this and see if I feel okay with taking that step. Now, you then decide not to, but you still have that feeling that maybe you should have, but it's not strong enough. So it kind of things just kind of going away. Now, through the universe, the person that introduced you to this, you come across, and they're just beaming. And you say, what's going on with you? Well, you remember I shared with you this opportunity to do something different, right? Because you were telling me that you were kind of bored, that, you know, the same old, every day, day in and day out. You'd really like to have some kind of a difference or excitement in your life. And so the universe brings this to you through this person, and they're going, it's been absolutely marvelous. It is the best decision I could have ever made at this point in my life. And you're kind of there saying to yourself, why didn't I embrace that? I could have embraced that and been on my way. Or you could have embraced it and not gone anywhere. The point is the decision to do it. It's no different than a group of us on this planet deciding that no longer, and we're doing this from the God, not the ego mind, that no longer will there be any conflict on this planet ever again. That no longer will there be pain and suffering. No longer sacrifice and digging and crawling and moving and then running and everybody trying to get somewhere. Because you're already there, way beyond what you're trying to get to in the physical material world. Now understand something. This is something that many of us haven't correlated yet, but will. Doesn't matter what you do on this planet. Really doesn't. Okay? Do you know what matters? That you discovered the God that you are before leaving the body. That's what matters. That you've mastered the ego mind. This has nothing to do with anyone else. It's all about you. People say, well, that's arrogant. No, see, that's a misunderstanding. This is through the heart mind, not the ego mind. See? Truly negative, selfish people are absorbed within themselves and don't even know they are the God, but that's how they are. They're absorbed within themselves. They don't do for others to do for themselves. They take from others to constantly feed their egos. Now, the heart-minded, confident one is the one that discovers that they are the God and that every single thing is the God. So that respect, that understanding, the reverence is with all of us. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out of the mouth. Remain still, at ease. Stop fighting with everyone and everything in your life today. Be totally relaxed, completely aware that there is a current of energy taking you down the river of this great existence. The body naturally knows how to find inner peace when you surrender and stop fighting this moment of your existence. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Sunday, January 15th, 2023, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be good to yourself. Stay in deep gratitude. Don't be hard on yourself. Stay in peace. Choose to stay in peace.